He is referred to by the media as tax expert and the guru of giving. Stuart Sobel. Presentation 1. Saving on taxes. He identifies the strategy and solutions. He tells you how not to make mistakes. 40 years of tax wisdom. He makes taxation less taxing and more understandable. Presentations can be given to individuals, businesses, trade associations, and tax professionals. He trains over 2,000 CPAs annually in tax education, and he makes learning taxation entertaining.
I told you earlier that I work for the Internal Revenue Service, but you know what? Even though I work for the IRS, I don't like paying any more taxes than what I have to. Do any of you like paying taxes? No, I don't think so. It's now the end of the year, and we think about making New Year's resolutions. How about making some tax resolutions? How about thinking about ways of saving money? Every year I write resolutions to help people to get through the tax system better. One, accept that saving on your taxes is not immoral or unethical. You're not unpatriotic if you look for ways of saving money. There's many choices out there on how to save money. Sometimes you have to talk to a tax professional. Sometimes you have to take a position that's in your interest. Sometimes you have to do a little bit of research, but don't feel guilty because you're reducing your taxes. Another resolution and understanding is that a dollar is worth more today. Today, you need the money today. We are hurting today, our economy. You got to pay for your kids' education. You want to put money away towards your retirement. Understand that a lot of things we can defer income to a later date, avoid paying taxes later, but you know what? Today is precious. Today is a blessing. A dollar is worth more today than it is tomorrow. What you have to do is understand the basic concepts of tax planning. Defer income and accelerate deductions. Find ways of saving money today. The third one, realize that tax software is good. TurboTax is good. All these tax software systems are good. You know what, tax professionals are good, but remember one thing. You are the one who pays the tax. You are the one who should assume the responsibility for learning. When you go to a car dealership, you ask the car dealer, tell me what car I need. You research, you do things. Well, you know what? Spend more time researching your taxes than a lot of you who go to Disney World spend time figuring out how long to take a ride, how long it takes to take a ride. Realize that all these people and all these softwares are good. You have the responsibility. You are the one that the buck stops with you. You also need to resolve yourself to have a timely record-keeping system. I can't remember what happened yesterday. Can you? Keep track of it. Keep a diary. Keep receipts. Somebody say, oh, it's not worth it. When you say it's not worth it, I say, well, then don't whine about the tax system. Feel patriotic in reducing the national debt. Every dollar that you can find in tax savings is more money in your pocket. Another thing you got to realize is tax planning is more important than tax preparation. A lot of people get worried about April 15th. They get worried about because they have to file a tax return. I'm more concerned about tax planning. Tax planning is fire prevention. Tax preparation is arson investigation. Your tax preparer does not have a time machine. They cannot take you back in time to do something. Only you have the power to do something. It comes through planning. When is tax day? A lot of you are saying April 15th. You're wrong. You know when tax day is? Every single day is tax day because we pay sales tax. We pay property tax. We pay income tax. We pay astronomical amount of tax. Realize that today is more important. Plan to save money. It is not illegal. Identify all of the deductions and credits. Be your own advocate. Read the stupid tax forms. I know it's confusing, but you're going to find credits there, a saver's credit, an earned income tax credit. Find every deduction and credit you're entitled to. Be your own advocate. Work with government agencies. Just because an IRS or an Indiana Department of Revenue or New York Department of Taxation sends you a bill and says you owe penalties and interest, talk to them. Explain to them that you made a mistake. Explain to them that I didn't understand. Explain to them that this is a one-time occurrence. Be your own advocate. Another point, too, is you're being deluged by organizations, charities, to give to them. Check out a charity before you give them your check. Spend a little bit of time. Are they worthy of your hard-earned dollars? Just because they're an approved public charity doesn't mean that they're the best charity for your money. Spend a little bit of time. By spending some time, you'll find organizations you never heard of. There are organizations out there that are worth your hard-earned dollars. You'll feel good by diversifying your giving, making sure the money is being given properly.
This is Presentation 2, Charitable Giving. Stuart is the author of 2 books on nonprofit taxation and governance issues. He'll teach you how to check out a charity before giving your check, discloses charitable scams and shams, and tells it like it is. He has worked with more than 2,300 organizations worldwide in areas of nonprofit formation, strategic planning, crisis management, joint business ventures, and fundraising issues. He's an expert on tax issues impacting the nonprofit and wise charitable gift planning for the taxpayer. Stuart can speak to consumer groups, civic organizations, CPAs and attorneys, United Ways, religious organizations, and corporations. He is a teacher and an empowerer.
Every single year around Christmas time, you are deluged with requests to give money. Every single year there's a disaster and organizations approach you saying, please give. And you feel guilty. You feel guilty when your university comes to you and says, you've contributed for 20 years. We expect you to contribute for another 20 years. The question is do you have to give because someone makes you feel like you have to give? The key to it is giving is an art. Giving is a skill. Hopefully you spend more time learning about how to give your money than you do about investing your money. There are so many organizations out there that want your money. There are over 1.6 million nonprofit organizations in the United States. 1.6 million. There has been a 68.7% increase in the number of charities in 10 years. The growth is astronomical. More and more organizations are coming and saying, we have to do things, we have causes. Why is this happening? Economic conditions. People are hurting. People who used to give food to a food bank are now going to a food bank asking for food. People are walking the streets homeless. People are out of jobs. Crisis all over the world. People are starving. People don't have good water. More and more organizations are being created. Who regulates the nonprofit sector? You think the IRS does? No, the IRS doesn't. You got a better chance of getting hit by lightning when you walk out this door than you have of a nonprofit organization being audited by the IRS. They do not regulate charity. The states, some people say, well, it's the attorney generals. They don't. They don't have enough resources. Who regulates charity in America? You. You, the donor. You, the person who is requested to give money. You are the regulator of charity. Will people take the time to research? A lot of people say they don't have the time. But you know what? There are so many organizations that are good organizations that are deserving your money. You got a telephone call interrupting your dinner, and you feel like you have to give. Do you realize that 95% of all the money that is being taken in by this telephone solicitor goes to the telephone solicitor? Yeah, 95% is going to a for-profit corporation. I would much rather give to an organization that uses 90% of the money for the people that it serves. How do you know this? You can do research. You can find out those charities, those organizations that are worthy of your giving. Also, what do we tell children when they're young? We tell children to share their toys. You know what? Just because Goodwill goes on national television saying they're a wonderful organization, give to Goodwill. But you know what? There's a lot of homeless veterans. There's women that are abused. There are people that have AIDS. There's so many people that need things like food, like clothing. And what you need to do is to spend a little bit of time finding those organizations that are worthy. The world of charity is confusing. A lot of people don't understand it. It is essential. If ever there was a time in society that we need to help, it's today. People need, if we have today, let's give.
This is Presentation 3, Creating the Successful Small Business. Stuart teaches entrepreneurship. He's an expert on tax saving for the small business. He absolutely tells it like it is. Stuart inspires people to be planners and strive for success. He teaches at universities, Chamber of Commerce, trade associations, corporate gatherings, and more. He can teach people to dream and make it a reality.
You've worked for 20 years for a business. for a major corporation. You thought you were protected for life. What have they done? They let you go. They let you go. You're there now looking for a job, and the lines for jobs are massive. You're thinking about starting a business. It's difficult to start a business. It's challenging to start a business. What is a business? First of all, the IRS has even given you a definition. A business is an activity engaged into with the expectation of making a profit. It's not a hobby. It's going to be your livelihood. It's going to be something that you're going to strive to do. You've worked for someone else for years, and finally you leave the place and you think to yourself, it's like in the words of Martin Luther King, free at last, thank God Almighty, I'm free at last. You can start your own business. What is a successful business? Some of you say, oh, unquestionably, it's one thing, making a profit. And I say to you, no, it's more than that. What if you get up in the morning and the alarm clock goes off and you look at that clock and you think to yourself, another day of this, another day of this. You dread going into work. You get into work and you make money. Is that success? No, it isn't success. Or you get up in the morning, you love what you're doing. You're excited about it. You go out and you make money. But you know what you do? You sell drugs. You sell drugs and kill kids. Is that a successful business? Or you get up in the morning, you love what you're doing, you make money, but your product or your service is inferior. It breaks. It's not fit for use. Is that success? Success is a combination of all those different things. There are people who make a lot of money working for companies say, I can't handle it anymore. You know what they do? They open a bed and breakfast. They open a bed and breakfast. They wash dishes. They change beds. They don't make as much money, but they are far more successful. So success is more than just making money. When you start a business, what you have to do is you have to dream. You have to close your eyes. How many of you out there can dream? Some of you say, I don't dream anymore. You're not going to succeed in business. To succeed in business, you got to dream. You got to visualize what you want to do. We want to visualize what it's going to be. You can't let accountants and people deter you from dreaming. After you dream, you then open your eyes and you translate the dream, the abstract ideas of the dream, to the words of the plan. You prepare a business plan. You translate the dreams to words. You put it in writing. And then what you do is you translate the words of the plan to the dollars of the budget. You have to be realistic. You have to take in money. You have to survive. Harry Chapin, a folk singer, wrote a beautiful song called Mr. Tanner. And the song ends by saying that Mr. Tanner, who was a dry cleaner, who wanted to do singing, music was his life, not his livelihood. Music was his life. If you're going into business, you have to understand you may enjoy what you're doing, but you got to feed the kids. You got to pay for the education. You have to do it right. You have to plan. Planning is essential. If you don't plan, you're going to wander aimlessly. You'll never know where you're there. And you know what? You're going to fail. And I don't want to see you fail. I want to see you succeed. The people who succeed are the ones who plan and have a vision. They know how to get there. And when they get there, they say, yes, I made it.
For almost 40 years, Stuart Sobel has been educating wide ranges of people. He can educate and entertain the average taxpayer, the small business owner, the nonprofit staff member or director, and the practicing CPA or attorney. Stuart Sobel is the person who can make difficult financial concepts understandable in an entertaining manner. Stuart Sobel.